All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is "Are Landlords Too Greedy?" Landlord and renter debate. This is coming from the channel IGV Presents. Let's jump into it.
Every month or every year or whatever it is.
All right, so they're coming from the UK. Logic should still prevail.
Every month or every year or whatever it is, to the point where I cannot afford it.
So you're saying you have the right to choose what you think is fair?
That's basically what it sounds like, yeah. Like disregarding whatever your variable interest rate is, because they don't care about that. There are times where I'm sure as a landlord, the rent doesn't even cover the mortgage, not the PMI or the house insurance. So yeah, occasionally rents do have to change, guys.
Right to choose what you think is fair.
Let's go. What is this? What are you eating, bro? Is that, okay, I see bacon. I don't know what that is. That looks disgusting, guys. I'm sorry. No offense. No offense. Okay, they're beans. I don't understand why there are beans on this plate, bro. With eggs. They're beans and eggs on the same plate. And what looks to be mushrooms. And like a sausage. This is a weird plate, bro.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you for doing this, and hopefully we'll be able to hash it out nicely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like, what time of the day do you eat this?
It's too difficult to evict tenants who don't pay the rent.
Absolutely.
Correct.
We need more support.
Correct.
Absolutely.
We're in a cost of living crisis. There's a lot of landlords that can't afford to have tenants that don't pay them any rent, and now...
Bro, calm down.
Not only are they not making any money, but they're actually losing money because they're still having to pay the mortgage.
So morally, you're okay going to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So morally, you're okay with the landlord paying someone else's bills morally.
Knowing that you have evicted a family and put them out at risk of homelessness onto the street. You're
Yes.
okay with that?
Yes. Here's what irritates me, right? What irritates me is when tenants tell me they can't pay rent because their mom just died. They would never call their energy provider and say, I can't pay my energy bill because my mom died. They would...
Yeah, because wait a second, because the energy is not the biggest bill. Like if they had to specifically help pay for, well, their mother, they most likely had to put some money, a large quantity of said money, into the funeral. That's kind of understandable. You still owe me that money as a landlord. Just be fully aware. But you know, I'll try to help you out a little bit this month. We'll defer that. But but every single month going forward is going to be split between the end of your lease. Just be fully aware where your rent is going up now. But
never call Sainsbury's and go in and say, my mom died, can I have free food? Why do they come to me? They
just to make up
pray
for
and
it.
leech and use emotional manipulation on struggling landlords with stories of why they can't pay the rent, and it's wrong.
So you're telling me that tenants are the ones who are preying and leeching on
Correct.
landlords?
Correct.
If anyone is going to do it, it's going to be the tenant, more so than the landlord. At least in my very specific, experience, the tenants are the ones that are going to come up with all the excuses on why they can't pay the rent. So that's generally it. The landlord can't be like, oh, the refrigerator is broke. Well, I'm not going to go fix that until you pay. No, the landlord still has to fix that. They need to fix everything else while you're sitting in that house not paying while the landlord is paying. So yeah, who's being taken advantage of a little bit more? On average, I guess, how about this? If it's a mom and pop landlord, like let's say I own the house and I'm renting it, it's less likely that it's going to be the landlord. If it's like a big corporate conglomerate, they're going to take advantage of you, bro.
I think there should be empathy for people struggling.
All right, I'll serve a very empathetic eviction notice.
What about people who, like I said...
I don't think this guy here, there's something, I don't know. Is it just me? Is it just me?
Can't afford food, can't afford to feed their families.
What does Sainsbury's say? They say, you can't come and buy food unless you have money. You need money.
Landlords should be able to charge what they see fit in terms of rent to protect their property.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
If you've got something, if you're selling a laptop, who chooses
fair.
how much you sell that laptop?
Like it's mine. I can say this is the price, right? This is my mortgage. This is my PMI. I know my interest rate. It may be most likely on a lot of these rental properties. It's probably going to be a variable interest rate. So that means it's going to change and alter. So unfortunately, if If my bill for that house goes up, your rent has to move. So I'd rather just have a cushion so the variable interest rate can go up and down. Some months I may make a profit of $100, right? In other months, I'm not making a profit of $100. Just keep that in mind. There has to be a buffer, so as the variable interest rates move up and down, the landlord is still kind of in it. And you want them to be in it. Because if they don't, then a gigantic corporation, landlords, they're going to purchase that property from them because, of course, if you're not paying the bills, I'm going to sell that house. And then you're mad at me, be mad at them.
Before you choose how much you sell the laptop for.
That will be terrible.
If you overcharge and you say, I know it's only worth $1,000, but I want $2,000, guess what's going to happen? No one's going to buy it. And it's the same with properties. If you've got a property and the rent is worth $1,000, and you go, actually, I'm going to put it on for $2,000, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have an empty house.
That's going to be $2,000 for this mouldy, damp, barely fit for purpose house that the landlord thinks
talking about
is fine to charge that much money.
Slumlords exclusively.
Landlords are able to charge whatever they want for any type of property. It can be the most amazing, well-kept for property, or it can be literally a hovel.
That's why you would ignore that piece of property. Like, accountability shouldn't be something that you run from. You chose that. Choose something else.
Massive shortage of houses, and every year we fail to build the amount of houses. And as a result of that, because there's a shortage of houses,
rent goes up.
I know, I'll put a property on for rent, I'll have 27 applications. I get it.
Housing is a right. You have a right to shelter. You have a right to safe.
Then build it. Build your safe shelter with your money, your materials, right? Do all that. Build your own. You're right. You have a right to shelter in your property. And if you can't build your property, rent someone else's. But understand that comes with stipulations. Or again, build your own.
Shelter.
If it's a right, who's going to pay for it? If you're saying, I should just have a right to live in a house, everything should just be free, who's going to pay?
I didn't say it was for free. I just said it.
That's kind of what you just said. If housing is a right, specifically, should be free.
It was a right.
Okay, well, what do you mean by a right? You have to pay. That's called
She
the
doesn't
world we live in.
want
That pay should
accountability
be
here.
in line with what you are able to afford. I have the right to be able to live in my home and not fear eviction. Right?
Oh, yeah, listen. All the houses in Beverly Hills, California, should now officially be for rent, and I only want to pay $3. That's basically what she's saying. All right.
And I have the right not to have my rent increase so drastically every month or every year or whatever it is.
The interest rates change. Your rent's going to go up.
To the point where I cannot afford it.
So you're saying you have the right to choose what you think is fair. You should just say, I think it's fair to pay this for a house, therefore I have the right to pay that.
I didn't say that.
I'm just trying to understand because it doesn't make any sense.
I think homelessness shouldn't exist. I think people should not be homeless.
Sure.
What does that have to do with this very specific line of questioning?
People shouldn't be sick either, and isn't it a shame that people die? That's the
Those
world.
are not any, that is not comparable in
It
any
is.
way.
Bro, she's
Absolutely
annoying.
not.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah, of course people die. That's just life. But homelessness is not life. Homelessness is a societal problem. Homelessness is something that we created.
But you have no solutions of how to fix it. You just say, I'd like it if it was just given to me at the price that I want to pay.
Because you have multiple properties. She thinks you should just give that to someone for free. That's basically what she's saying here. She's in the camp of saying you should only be allowed to own one house, one piece of property, right? And never, move up the financial ladder, because she's in the camp of eat the rich also. I can smell that, right?
Do you have the answers to everything in the world?
No, but I have the answers to this. It's called a free market.
It's pretty easy. Yeah.
The amount of properties landlords own should be capped.
Agree. 100%.
I agree. Okay. Because if you don't cap it, then we end up with Blackstone, BlackRock, right? We end up with all of these gigantic rental conglomerates. We need to break that down, bro. That should not exist. Wall Street should not be investing in the real estate market, guys, okay? We need to cap it. I'm fine with, let's say, I own a property in the city. And if I can afford it, I'll own a property in the country or in the woods or something like that near a lake, right? 2 pieces of property. Then I have another property that I'm renting to kind of, I don't know, pay for the other property so I can live a little better and easier. I don't know what it is, guys, right? if we can put a soft cap on no matter whatever the situation is, 5 houses, I'm pretty sure that'll be fine. Not these gigantic companies owning thousands of them and then selling them all in a random portfolio where you can buy them in bulk if you really wanted to. Like if you look at Realtor.com or Zillow, you'll see multiple of these people selling entire portfolios of houses for basically for a discounted rate. Okay, yeah, we need to get rid of that and allow the people that can afford to buy multiple houses to still kind of do that, but absolutely not these gigantic corporations, and get Wall Street out of the housing market. That'll fix a lot.
I'm building right now a block of 48 houses. Should I be allowed to do that?
You should be allowed to build them,
And then
but
what?
you shouldn't be allowed to profit from them.
What is she
How many
saying
properties do you
here?
have?
Hundreds.
Okay, I mean, okay, so he's one of those big guys, right? He's making a lot of money, obviously. But the fact that what she just said is crazy.
Hundreds.
Yes.
Right. So you are probably making a significant income from all of those properties.
If I wasn't making money from building properties, I wouldn't do it. And if no one does it, guess what? There's going to be way less supply and rents are going to be 10 times the price and you're going to be moaning about it. Even
Oh, she hates you.
more.
You shouldn't profit off them as a landlord.
So you're saying I should be forced to sell them all, but I can make a
You
profit
should
in
get
selling
a job.
them? This is way more important than most jobs. This is the very thing that you have a problem with, which is the lack of supply of properties. I'm there building these properties, and you're saying go get a job.
Yeah,
What the
that
heck?
should be funded by the government. The supply.
I knew her entire mannerism, guys. I smelt it here. All right. Basically, what's happening here is that she's with. There's like a very specific group of people who do not like people making money. And specifically, if they can't figure out a way how to make anywhere near the money that they're making, the other group, right, then they're going to complain about it and consistently say, just get a job. Be satisfied with $35,000 a year. You have to be. Why are you making so much money? That's crazy, right? She's in that camp, guys.
Supply of property should be funded by the government, not by people who have to pay more money to you and put it in your personal pocket. My landlord, right, owns my whole building. There's 4 flats in it, including my own. From my building alone, he earns £60,000 a year. Double.
Is that it?
That's double what the average UK salary is.
Good for him. He deserves that.
Significantly.
That's a bad deal on a multifamily, bro. You should probably sell that.
Significantly more than what I earn. And then I put 60% of my income straight into his pocket.
Good.
And I will never buy a house because that money, I will never see that money. I'm giving money to someone, right, for a place that I don't own, that I can't make changes to, that I can't paint, I can't, decorate, I can't put things on the wall without permission, I can't have a pet without permission.
But the thing is, everything you're saying boils down to, I want the government to help me, the government should solve the problems. That's not the real world.
That's what it sounds like.
You live in the property, you should fix it, or take better care of it.
Depends on what it is. I've literally had people call me up and say, my lights aren't working, it's an emergency. And then I've been like, oh man, they're not working, I'm so sorry. Bang! Send someone out, paid an emergency electrician, and the light bulb.
Right, it's the bulb.
Yeah, I personally do agree that you should change your own light bulb. But also, what then happens, so some people have made repairs or fixed up their property or whatever, changed their property in some way, and changed the light bulbs, but their landlords are like, you shouldn't have done that because that's supposed to be in charge.
They're just idiot landlords.
I've had a landlord like that. They were like, oh, you have to call us every time, when you need the light bulb changed.
Bro, I've had people literally paint the entire, all of the rooms different colors, bro. Okay? Do whatever you want to do. Just pay your rent. That's it. I'm not going to take your security deposit unless you do something crazy, right? Just don't mess the place up. The paint is irrelevant, okay? You want to paint because you think your room looks better. Just don't mess up the floor, and we're fine, okay? Do whatever you want to put things on the wall. It is not a problem because I'm going to paint when you leave anyways. Everything's going to be painted white or like an eggshell, and I can easily patch the holes from your nails. Just do not mount a TV, please. All right, that's it.
Nah, I can buy my own light bulb.
I want to put a picture up on the wall. You're not allowed. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They give me money. Yeah. They should be grateful to me. I should be grateful to them. Win-win.
Absolutely.
So what happens in that situation? A landlord doesn't fix something after multiple complaints, and it's something really dangerous, like mold or damp, something that will hurt you, which costs billions to the NHS.
You talk about...
I can tell you right now, I'll give you my opinion really quick if I'm going to hear his, because he sounds to be somewhat intelligent here. First things first is you're going to want to put the people that are inside of the apartment, specifically if it's mold. I don't know what damp is. I don't know what that means. Maybe mildew, maybe? Either way, you take the people out of the property for the moment, at least for a couple of weeks or so. You put them in like Airbnb or a hotel, whatever it is, needs make them comfortable. Then obviously you go in and you fix everything. If it's like, oh, I need to tear down this wall because there's mold growing, etc. If you need to replace like beams and things like that, guys, no problem. There's no chance I'm going to allow mold to grow in my house. There's no way. Okay, that is destruction. So tell me immediately, don't worry, I got you. Go over there, pay your rent, and I'm going to make sure that all of that's out of the house. No doubt here. It is not an expensive fix if you catch it fast.
Or damp, something that will hurt you, which costs billions to the NHS.
You talk about landlords not fixing things, mold, problems. That's a real issue. Imagine if the government capped rents. Now I'm not fixing shit now.
Right.
Now I'm not making any profit.
Nothing.
I'm supposed to fix stuff.
Landlords let tenants live in dangerous or hazardous conditions.
Yeah, they do, and it's wrong.
I can agree with that, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some
Slumlords,
really bad
yes.
landlords out
I tell
there.
you who's worse. Who's the worst landlord is, though?
The big
Council.
ones.
Look at Grenfell Tower.
I have no idea what the council is, but the worst landlords are literally the ones who own like tens and tens or hundreds of thousands of homes, guys.
Yeah.
And all the disgusting, horrible things that have happened.
I don't know what
council
council
houses
is.
are the worst. So when people say we should just rely on the government to provide all our housing, it's like, whoa! Come to me, man. Come to me. I'll give you better houses, believe me. And you'll pay me and it's cool, but I'll build houses. Don't go to the government. Government, terrible. I'm a landlord, not a bad guy. Why do we have such a bad rep?
Because there are absolute slumlords out there. Completely. Like the ones who go and they find like these torn down multifamilies and they're selling them for like, I don't know, $250, $300. And they're putting like 20% down on them, getting them really quickly, maybe putting another $10,000, $20,000 into the property to kind of make it look like they fixed everything, but they didn't do anything. Paint, carpet, fixing some walls, some random appliances, and then they rent them for like, $1,500 or so. They get their money back really fast from their down payment. And then going forward, it's just all profit and they don't fix anything. That's it. If you want something fixed, just leave. It's fine. I'm not going to fix nothing. These are these people. These are slumlords, guys.
I think landlords have such a bad reputation because renters are extremely frustrated where they can be evicted at a moment's notice, where their rents can increase at a moment's notice, forcing them out of their area, forcing them to find new housing at the drop of a hat. I think it's all these horror stories that we've heard. They're frustrated that they're pouring thousands of pounds into this home that they reap no reward from. They're just putting that money into their landlord's pocket. And, if they're paying £30,000 of rent a year, that money, if they had saved all of that up, they would have a house. They could be able to buy a house.
True. I don't think that greedy landlords truly exist. Generally speaking, because the way you see it is, if you're greedy and money grabbing and don't fix things, you make more money. That's actually not the case. From my experience of the thousands of investors that I have met and talked to and seen their books, the ones that treat their business like a true business and care about their customers, to see their house as a product and a service and their tenant as a customer and look after them, they actually make more money. The greedy slum landlords are often broke. So they should be. So I think there's this skewed narrative that these greedy landlords that are making all this money, they're not. They're idiots.
Have you ever seen those horror stories about people who they changed the shower head to a nicer one, or they painted and it was nicer, and then they got their deposit taken away, or their landlord just evicted them?
I think it's disgusting. I hate it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like deposits are only taken away generally. I can only give you, again, my experience. If you destroy floors, if you destroy walls, if you destroy doors, windows, things that are just cannot be cleaned off, right? Then your deposit is not going to be taken away. All of it's not going to be taken away as long as the repairs are, they make up for the actual deposit itself. You will get money back.
do you think this has been hashed out?
No,
I think it's been hashed out really well.
I don't think so, bro. This was a terrible debate.
I think neither of us will come to an agreement on like certain things.
And that's crazy because you're worried about, you're concerned that everyone else is making money, but she doesn't understand anything about finance, anything about economy, anything about the housing market or real estate. She literally understands none of it. You're concerned and confused why rent is going up. The economy is the reason why rent is going up. The variable interest rates that these landlords bought those properties for is doing this every single other month, it seems. Okay, back when people purchased a lot of properties here in the United States of America, it was like 1 and 2, maybe 3% interest rates. And a couple of months ago, they were at 7%. Bro, their mortgage doubled, if not tripled at times, guys. All right. So that means that your rent had to go up to pay for that. That's what happens. But will it ever go back down? That's what you need to talk to about to landlords, because obviously if the interest rates go down, your rent should in fact follow. But landlords are greedy at times. I'll tell you that.
But I think on some things we do have common ground and we do agree ostensibly on like a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's been hashed out pretty well.
Yeah,
I don't think so,
I think
bro.
You're a very articulate person.
Thank you.
I think you deserve to be very successful in whatever you do. I've been a tenant, so I get it. But I think you need to begin to be a bit more grateful to me for the houses that I'm building. That'd be good.
Sure, maybe on a cold day in hell.
Love to meet you.
All right, bros. Okay, all right, we're good. This was a decent conversation. Like, the idea of it was great. I would love to see people who are a little bit more knowledgeable. I've seen some like crazy renter debates, and they've been wild. All right, they have their points. They understand why things are the way they are. They're not just like grasping at straws because they don't understand kind of what's happening here. Most of their problems are with, again, these absolutely large rental firms. That's where the problem lies. These rental firms, guys. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.